I've been getting a ton of questions just like this lately. So guess what? Today is your day. Welcome back to Nate the Hoof Guy. I can always tell when it's time to post more follow-up videos when I start getting those questions. Viewers are watching and wondering, do these trims actually help these cows, or do they just end up at the fast food restaurant? Of course they do, or we wouldn't do them. In this cow, this first trim, she had a question mark or what appeared to be in the bottom of her hoof. We trimmed that out, cleaned it really well, and wrapped it with salicylic acid. Now we're back, 3 weeks later, to see exactly what that trimming did. So what is the actual purpose of a recheck? Well, it's to make sure that our interventions are helping this cow improve and heal these particular problems. I don't just do these rechecks for video purposes. In fact, most of the rechecks I do, I don't videotape, just because my viewers tend to like those first trims, those ones where there's a lot of stuff going on. These rechecks, a lot of times, are just removing some of these loose horn pieces like I'm doing now that naturally release during this healing process, cleaning these areas up, making sure there's no lesions there, and treating anything that might need to be treated once again. But oftentimes, these hooves are improving drastically, so they're not nearly as exciting to watch. So I don't film them all, but I do rechecks on almost every lesion that I trim, except those for dermatitis. Those generally heal up, and I don't have to recheck those. But these white line issues, any of these ulcer type issues, I'm always going to do a recheck because I need to make sure that this cow is progressing and make sure that if there's anything else that I need to do to help her progress, I can do that in a timely fashion. Now with this girl, I think the improvement is pretty obvious. The lesions that were there on that first trim are completely healed now, and we're producing hoof horn over the top of that, creating a brand new sole where those problems were. That is exactly what we're looking for. The trimming that I'm doing now is just leveling out this sole a little bit more, and like I said earlier, removing any of these loose edges that might be there. I don't want them to trap debris and potentially cause any problems, and now I'm able to remove some more hoof horn near that heel in this area here. I can bring that down now that I've got a nice layer of hoof horn growing over the top of those lesions. Now the reason I left that higher, if you take a look over at that other claw, you'll notice that block is gone. She popped that block off, and that hoof horn that I left a little bit higher on this claw here was able to protect those lesions and keep her from walking on those lesions even though that block fell off. Now even with this, even though we do have a nice hoof layer here, that sole is not thick enough to bear weight. And so what we want to do is put a block on that other claw. So that's what I'm going to do here. We're going to get this cleaned up. You'll be able to see those lesions are gone. There's some dark shading there yet, but that's just from where those lesions were. This area here is still too thin. When I push on it, it gives. That's not good. That means every time she takes a step, that hoof is going to give under her weight as well. So I'm going to get a block on that other claw, just give this a little more time for that sole to get thicker. But the healing has happened, which is what we want. Now it's just a matter of that sole getting the correct thickness to bear weight. Here we'll give you a little side shot, give you a different perspective so you can see the hoof material that was removed. Right along here, that's where those lesions were. Those are all healed up now, but like I said, it is a little thin. No need to wrap this though, because it is healed over, so she's good to go. Just a matter of time till it becomes thick enough. Our next cow had a stone embedded in that sole, and it worked its way all the way through. So we removed it, trimmed it up, put a block on that other claw and give it a wrap. Now we're back with 9175 3 weeks later as well. Once again, the question I'm looking to answer is, did that lesion that rock caused heal, or is it in the process of healing? The way I do that is remove any of the loose horn and try to get down, work my way down through that lesion and examine that hoof horn around it. If I see signs that it's healing, that's exactly what I want. If I see signs that I need to do more things to help her heal more, then I will make those decisions based on that. I start to remove any of these loose edges. Once again, I'm making sure that there's no debris packed up in there and that that lesion itself has healed. What would happen if I didn't recheck these? Well, in a case like this, where this hoof is healing nicely, absolutely nothing. But it's those cases where the healing isn't fully progressed, where I need to help her a little more, that it really pays off. In this case, that lesion is healed up nicely. We'll zoom in here. You can see exactly where that rock was, but you can see there's a new layer of hoof horn there, which is exactly what we want. The other thing that can happen is that block can become misplaced, in which case we'd have to replace that block. But in this case, like I said, you can see there's a little bit of redness there, and it is a little thin, but because this block is positioned the way it is, I can leave it in place and it can stay until this sole gets thick as well. And with that, she is done.